So welcome to the 1990 series. My name's Amanda O'Shea, the Loving Life Coach from the Serendipity Experience. And I have with me today, Amy Johnson, all the way from Michigan, Dr. Amy Johnson. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Amanda. It's great to talk with you.
Yeah, really good to read as well. Your book, The Little School of Big Change, has been one of the books that we have always had here at the treatment center where I work in Spain. So your name has been floating around for many, many years. And yeah, I want to thank you for that, and for lots of the lots of the videos that you have created and the podcasts that you've done, because they've been ever so helpful, and we've shared a lot of those where with our guests and with my own clients. So thank you for all of those video contributions that you've done over the years.
I'm so glad they're helpful. I'm glad they're going to good use.
It's nice to know, isn't it? Like, from when you record something where you're in Michigan, you don't know where it's going to end up, do you?
Yeah, no.
For example, in a treatment center in Spain or wherever it is. So thank you for being on this call today. Thank you for being part of this 1990 series. I know that we share a common passion of sharing this understanding that we do in the world of recovery, and you've worked a lot with habits and addictions, and that's where I'm kind of at the moment too. And I'm looking forward to hearing you talk today, where we've talked about the gift of habits and addictions. And I don't know that many people really see that in the beginning to be a gift.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear more about how you see that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the most natural thing in the world to find yourself caught up in something that's hurting your health, your finances, your family life, your sense of well-being, and to think that that's a giant problem. So first, of course, no one sees it as a gift in the beginning, right? It's so natural that we just look at that stuff and it's hurting us, and the addiction or the habit, that looks like a problem. And right after that, it looks like a problem with us, because this is occurring within us, right? So, and I'm not saying we consciously think all this stuff up, but this is just how a mind sees it. Whoa, bad, I have a problem, and I have the problem. It's all about me. It's, very often a mind goes to some kind of flaws or problems, or how we created this, or how we're not weak enough to get over it, or all the things in the past that happened to us. And so it becomes this very self-centered, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but just like all of our thinking is, right? It's all about us, and this very sticky, problematic story. And so kind of from that place, what would any normal, natural human being do is we go to work trying to fix it. We think, okay, I have a problem. I need to end this thing. Now, what we see and feel, and what everyone in the world is echoing to us, is the actual thing we're doing for the most part. So if you drink, or you use drugs, or you shop too much, or you're on the internet too much, or any of that, or you feel too anxious, or you have a temper, anything, it's that top level, kind of outside, surface level sort of thing. The way it, as in our language, it's kind of the most sort of downstream thing. The way it shows up in the world is what everyone points to. It's where our focus is, because that's what we see and what we're doing. And so naturally, we go to work trying to kind of fix that. We think, okay, and now I'm generalizing, but in general, it's okay, I need to drink less. Here are the steps I'm going to put into place to try to drink less. I need to stop doing this or start doing that. Here's what I'm going to do. And we kind of come up with these strategies to sort of fix the very end of the road, just the way all that shows up. And of course we do. Again, this is so obvious. We're not all psychologists. We're not seeing the invisible parts of this, the thought and feeling and the misunderstanding that leads up to all that. We just see that end result. And so what I see all the time, I'm sure you see too, is people who have have tried so hard. No one goes into any treatment or anything, even reads a book like my book, before they've tried a bunch of stuff. And maybe they've even just done it in their own heads, where they've just beaten themselves up for where they are, and they've tried to change their mind and all of that. And so there's like one more thing, like we're just trying things, and a lot of those things don't fully work. They don't really like get to the core of the matter, to the heart of the matter, because obviously we're just trying to kind of change a behavior or change a thought or a mindset. And so what I think is so huge to see, one of the things that kind of foundation of this, one of the foundational pieces of this conversation is like, it's not your fault that you are where you are. And it doesn't mean, it's not about a weakness in you. It's like, we're just sort of looking in this place and then trying to change that without a much bigger understanding that we share with people.
Yeah. And that's seeing that, Amy, isn't it? That at one point, the alcohol or the drugs or the shopping or the sex or whatever it is was the answer. It was the answer. So, and now it looks like, oh, well, that's become the problem, But at one point it was. So it's, people are often, I find, when they have come, especially into the treatment center, they're at their last straw. They feel like they've tried everything. Nothing works, So why is this going to be any different?
Yeah. And the focus is so much on the thing they're doing, right? Like, and that's hard, because when the focus is on that, it's like, of course, anywhere we place our focus, we get so much more of that, So the focus is on, why can't I stop? And here's what I've tried. And why do I still want it? And how is this feeling ever going to go away? And all of that. And then, of course, we're just swimming in more of that.
Yeah. When I spoke to Jacqueline Hollows before, I thought I knew a lot about addiction until I actually came and worked in an addiction center, So those last 3 years really have helped me to see it differently, being in it, really working with people at the height of their addiction. But speaking with Jacqueline Hollows from Beyond Recovery before I came in here, and it was, one of the things that she said to me was, don't talk about their addiction. Don't talk about the alcohol. Let the others do that. Let the other counsellors do that. Just go in there and show what you know. Just talk about the misunderstanding. And I'm so grateful for that conversation that happened before, because it's not like talking about what they've been up to doesn't come into the conversation, but it's not where the focus of our teaching or sharing or workshops or one-to-ones or little chats. That's not where the focus of it is. Mm-hmm. And it is, we talk about like the gift of, like you say, it's, the gift of waking up. For some people it comes from, behaviors. For some people it comes from something happening in the family, maybe not even to them. For somebody else, it is their habit turning into an addiction that really makes them stop and look. Mm-hmm. For some people, it seems like it had to happen that way to make them look, or to go into some sort of self-inquiry.
Yeah.
To reflect.
Yeah. And I think it's so, like, the big question is like, well, what is that making them look at? Is it making them look at their past and their personality and their weaknesses? Because that's what I thought when I was caught up in something. Like, I could see that there was some bigger purpose and message in what I was struggling with. But I was like, oh, well, this is supposed to make me stronger. And this is, it's just showing me my flaws or something, who knows, or making me heal my past or my childhood or something. And, the way that kind of looks now is like what it's helping us wake up to. Any struggle. This is true of any struggle, any suffering, any pain, is just showing us where we're forgetting who we really are, and we're caught up in our experience, and we're fighting against our experience. Now, who we really are has no problems. It's there's there's not, it's this before personality, before habits, before behaviors, before psychology. And that might make it sound like we're talking about something way far removed, but no, that is in every one of us all the time. It is who we are. And within that bigger space of who we really are, experience moves through and comes to life. So thoughts and feelings, and then we act on those thoughts and feelings, and then we judge those thoughts and feelings. We say, oh, I don't like this one. This one's okay. This one's not. That's all what I just shortcut it as is experience or psychology. It occurs within who we are, but that's not who we are. And so when we get caught up in something like, say, we're thinking, we're seeing ourselves in a negative light, or we're thinking about ourselves all the time. And then, like you said, for a while, the thing we reach for seems like a solution, because it's like, oh, I'm not good enough. Let me shove this in to help me numb from that feeling. Ooh, that worked. Now we have more, but what it's really turning us around and opening us up to is seeing, wow, none of that stuff you're fighting and pushing against has anything to do with you anyway. It's experience moving through. It needs to keep moving. It wants to keep moving. And you are fine and always have been. Like that's a huge thing to be pointed back toward.
It is huge, right? Like it is life-changing, transformationally huge.
Yeah.
And so we're doing the best that we can, right, to try and share this message, whether it's in the whatever world where we happen to find ourselves in, or working, where we're working with children, or in the healthcare, or we're in business. There's a big community out there spreading this message. And I've seen recently, you've even been flying in from America into the UK to share it with people in our NHS system.
Yeah.
And it's quite a movement happening.
There is. It's so exciting. There is a big movement happening.
Yes. And is that the same? So, I've seen recently, you did a beautiful post, actually. I think you did it on Facebook, but I might copy it and tag it underneath this call, where you talked about, it was after you'd come out of, or you'd put it after you'd come out of one of the recent talks that you just did, about the old way we used to think and the way we're thinking now. The old, what you'd call old psychology, or and that was great. I'm gonna, if that's okay, I'm gonna put that under this video, because it was so clear of how we used to think and how we're thinking now. This is what we used to believe, and this is what we're seeing to be true now. So it's like, it really is, there's this shift. It's the old and the new. How we thought it worked, and now how it really works.
And when it comes to habits and addiction, there's so many old and new distinctions in that, but it's like some of the biggest ones are like the old way, again, like we said earlier, is that an addiction is a problem. It has something to do with us. And it's just, I know it's a huge leap for people sometimes, but what if what we're saying is true? What if the only problem is that we forget what's available to us and who we are? And an addiction is like any other problem in the world. It just serves to wake us back up to that. It's pretty amazing. What we have to conclude is there are no real problems, that everything is happening for us. And I can't see how that's not true.
Yeah. And it is almost, just keep looking in this direction when people get a little insight into what we're pointing to. Because saying to somebody whose son or daughter's, showing up with a huge drug addiction, like, oh, well, it's a gift, that's probably not going to go down too well. But when they see afterwards that, the shift that can happen when people having that understanding, and we're not responsible for when that shift happens, but we certainly seem to just soften, to soften the path, to make it easier to walk on. Instead of walking barefoot on broken glass, it's kind of like we pad it out a bit, right? We give them a pair of socks, we give them a comfortable pair of trainers, and we kind of sweep the broken glass away, and suddenly it's more inviting. It's more inviting to walk down that path, when it's cleaner and more comfortable. And so, you have this amazing energy that you bring talking about this subject, talking about habits and addictions, and I know that you share your story, and you know, it's been amazing to see how far, actually, even in the last, say, 5 years, how far, you know, we're coming with, just, it does seem slow, but slowly
Yeah.
into this world. And I think the, you know, the height of that now is having this conference that's really exciting for all of us, the first ever 3 Principles Recovery and Addiction Conference in Minneapolis in May 14th to the 16th. And we're all going to be there.
Yes.
It's a real, yeah, it's a gathering of just, well, wonderful people from all over. You know, people are flying in from all over to bring us all together, from not just it's held in America, but it's not just American. There's lots of speakers and guests coming from Europe.
Yeah.
And
And just to kind of explore kind of what we're saying here, really. So it isn't, you know, it's not, no one has to be in any approach or not agree with any approach. It's bigger than all that. It's like, let's just look at the real nature of like who we are as people and what's going on when we find ourselves in addictions, and what we've seen truly wakes people up deeper than the treatment, the specific treatment modalities and the conversations and the meetings and all those are all part of it. But what's beneath all that? What's the real variable that happens? And what you and I both see, and everyone at this conference has seen, is there's like the lights come on, there's an awakening, there's a shift, and it's an awakening to who we really are, what we've been talking about here. And it's available to anyone. We've all had them in our own ways, in various parts in life, you know, times in life. And when we can kind of look in that direction together, man, it's amazing what people see.
yeah, and even in that space, you know, that's why I think, so people can read a book and hear this. People can be walking down the street and pushing a buggy or sweeping up the garden. You know, it comes from inside. It doesn't come from anywhere else. But it's when we're sowing seeds, you know, when we're pointing in this direction, when we warm it up, something happens that it seems to be that capacity for insight is nudged.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
nudged. And I'm really excited about meeting you in person. And
Yeah, me too.
May will be, you know, May will come around quick enough, and we'll put the website details at the bottom of this video too, as soon as it's ready for public release, which is really soon. So that's exciting. And you know, people can. How many books have you written, Amy? I know that you've got, you know, the book.
Yeah, I have two. I have two that are out right now, and a couple more in the works. So yeah.
Okay, well, we'll put a link to the books as well underneath here, and just you know, thank you for everything that you've done. You've made the way easier for people like myself. You know, you've made it. So we hope that somebody watching this might take something from this, and we don't know where that might go. So yeah. I will see you soon on an online meeting, but I will see you in real life in a few months, if not before. And yeah, we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Yes, we will. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who's watching or listening, and please feel free to share this video with anybody that you think it might be helpful for. Lots of love to all. Bye. See you all. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.